Hey, can you help me with something? My professor wants us to use library databases to research our presentation, but have you seen these databases? I tried to use one, but I got so mixed up.
Okay, I know the databases take some getting used to, but they're not so bad once you get to know them. In fact, they're pretty amazing. Library databases collect information from publications like newspapers, journals, and reference books, and they make them searchable by keywords, subject, author, title, and publication. They often contain full-text articles. Let me give you and Zach a quick database tour. But first, some background. Have you ever heard of primary, secondary, and tertiary sources? Primary sources are original works written, created, or produced during the particular time under study. Here are some examples.
Original documents include autobiographies, letters, diaries, memoirs, speeches, interviews, official records, news film footage, photographs, research reports, and research data. Other primary sources include artwork and artifacts.
Secondary sources rely on primary sources for information.
Some examples are interpretations, evaluations, commentaries, and discussion of primary sources.
Tertiary sources are yet one more level removed from the primary source, and generally refer to tools for finding primary and secondary sources.
Examples of tertiary sources are indexes, databases, bibliographies, library online catalogs, dictionaries, and encyclopedias.
Here are some types of sources. Each could be a primary, secondary, or tertiary source.
Books are good for in-depth information, but the information can be dated. Be sure to check the publication date.
Popular magazines are good for general entertainment and leisure reading. However, it contains few or no cited sources.
Newspapers are good for current events. They are good primary source material. However, they do not provide in-depth information. Very few sources are cited.
Scholarly journals are important sources for your papers. They provide in-depth research and cited sources. Also, the articles or scholarly journals are peer-reviewed and evaluated prior to publication acceptance. The con is that they may contain technical terms and jargons.
Government publications or websites may contain important data that cannot be easily found anywhere else. The publications may vary in quality and currency.
Some of these can be found in the library, some on free internet sites, and others through the library subscription databases. Library databases contain information from multiple sources, such as scholarly, peer-reviewed journals, newspapers, and magazines, and are available over the internet through the library's site. The library pays for access to these databases so that faculty and students like us will have quality sources for their research. Databases have some features that make them more helpful and reliable than Google or Google Scholar. Databases have advanced search features, allowing you to search only for scholarly sources, newspapers, magazines, etc., or search by time period, publication name, author name, article title, etc. This flexibility makes it easier and faster to find relevant information. Databases are also more likely than Google or Google Scholar to have full-text articles. Some databases even focus on specific subject areas, such as music or science, while others have articles on many different subjects. Let's take a look at a database named Academic Search Premier. It's one of my personal favorites. This is a general subject database with information on all subject areas. It's full of options to help you tailor your search. But remember, if you don't find good sources in one database, there are lots of others to try. You can consult a librarian to determine the database that works best for your research topic. So with this database, let's start with the top box and input our keyword term. Click Search to continue. This yielded 3,763 results. That's a lot to sort through. In Module 3, we'll talk about strategies for selecting the best keywords. For now, though, let's see how we can improve this search with the keywords we have. One thing you can do is select fields for your keywords. You can search for articles that have American Idol in their texts, titles, author names, subject terms, etc. Select subject terms to see all articles that are about the subject, American Idol. Now click Search again. So we're down to 1,086 articles. Still too many to read through, but it's getting better. Next, notice how the database has suggested some additional keyword terms for us. They call these thesaurus terms. You can add one of these to your search or use it to replace one of your current search terms. Click on Reality Television Programs. Now we're down to 170 articles. Finally, notice how the database allows us to view only results of a specific source type. Narrow your search by clicking on the box next to Scholarly Peer-Reviewed Journals. Now there are only 7 sources. We'll probably need to broaden our search later or try new keywords, but let's check out these results first. Here we can see information about the article, followed by a link to the article itself. Sometimes the database won't have a full-text version of the article. When this happens to you, and it will happen at some point, that doesn't mean you have to give up on the article. First, click on the Get It at R button to see if the article you need is available somewhere else. If not, you can often get a PDF copy of the article through Rutgers Interlibrary Loan and Article Delivery Services. Just one more thing before we finish our database tour. Once you find an article you like and might want to use, you need to save it, or its citation, so you can find it later. Look at these options here. Here you can print the article, email it to yourself, save it to your computer, view its citation, or export it to RefWorks. You can also save it to your folder. This is like a cart function where you can collect articles of interest as you search. In the end, you can view your folder and sort through everything you've collected. You can then print them out, email them to yourself, or save them to your computer. If you're signed into RefWorks, you can also export the results to your RefWorks account. RefWorks is a tool offered by TCL to help you compile your sources, track your citations, and best of all, create a bibliography that is directly publishable to a Word file. I have to say, I'm a huge fan of RefWorks. You know, sometimes I see students in here struggling to put together a bibliography. When I tell them about RefWorks, they can't believe they went so long without it, wasting time on bibliographies that they could have spent making their papers better. So I recommend you check this out sooner rather than later. Finally, a lot of students also keep a research log in a notebook or on their computer. Here they record all the sources they find, writing down each one's citation, its contents, and where they found it. They can later use this log to remember where they found certain pieces of information, making it easier to cite sources in their research and to find the sources again if they need to. This is also a way to keep track of your research process, including your ideas, thoughts, and reflections from reading or thinking about your research topic. Used in conjunction with RefWorks, you'll see that a research log really helps prevent last-minute stress as you put together your project, making it so much easier to relocate and cite your sources. So there you go. Now you should be able to tackle those databases. I know we went over a lot, so let's review. Primary sources are original works written, created, or produced during the particular time under study. Secondary sources rely on primary sources for information, and tertiary sources rely on secondary sources. Databases collect many different types of sources. When using a database, you can limit your search results by A. Specifying your search field, B. Selecting full text, C. Using the suggested thesaurus terms, D. Looking only for certain types of sources, for example, only scholarly peer-reviewed journal articles. Check out RefWorks for help maintaining your sources and compiling your bibliography. Keep track of your sources in a research log as you go. This stuff will really help you out.